afternoon, Mets fans, and welcome to a Tuesday edition of Driving with Mr. Met. I am Mr. Met, and I'm coming at you at the present time on my way to the airport because I'm flying out today to be out of town for a couple of days, and I wanted to get a video recorded before that. I'll upload this tonight when I get to Tennessee, which is where I'm heading. But I wanted to talk about last night's game with the Cubs, and I want to preview tonight's game with Jake on the mound tonight. But I want to talk specifically about Noah Syndergaard and whether or not we should legitimately be concerned about the way Noah's been pitching of late. There was nothing particularly wrong with the results of last night's game with Syndergaard on the mound. He did give up 4 runs, but that's to be expected every now and then. The problem, the concern, the thing that worries me the most is that Noah Syndergaard's being hit more often than I think he's ever been in his career. And that concerns me a little bit because I'm not sure why it's happening. He's throwing hard, right? Throwing as hard as he ever has, hitting 99, hitting 98 regularly. He seems to have his secondary stuff working okay. He threw a couple of really good curveballs last night. But it doesn't seem to be mattering. It seems like opposing teams, opposing hitters are squaring up his fastball more often than they ever have before. And I've said this a lot, and I've mentioned it many times, where guys are throwing and not pitching. And I'm gonna throw it out there for Noah that I think that might be what's happening right now with Noah Syndergaard, that he is throwing the ball up there as hard as he can, and he's not pitching. And there's a difference. Everyone that watches the game knows there's a difference. Pitching involves giving it some thought, putting some real brain power behind you know, what you're going to throw and why and when, moving the ball around, most importantly, because I'm not about ready to say that Noah Syndergaard's not up there thinking. I think he's very smart. I think he knows what he's doing, but I'm not sure that he's executing as well as we expect him to. And I think a lot of that is resulting in him throwing balls that are not moving, fastballs specifically, that are not moving around, that are coming in straight, and are easy to hit. You know, anyone will tell you, any major leaguer will tell you that a fastball is easy to hit if it's coming in on a straight plane. You know, if it's not moving around, not dancing around a little bit. It's why Bartolo Colon has always been successful, because he certainly doesn't reach 99 miles per hour with his fastball, not even close. You know, Bart routinely tops out at 88, 89. Sometimes he'll dial it up to 91 if he needs to, but Bartolo Colon has always been effective because his ball moves all over the place. It dips down, it dips in, it dips out. It's never coming in on that straight line. And that, for me, is the biggest concern with Noah Syndergaard, that right now, he doesn't seem to be moving the ball at all. He seems to be coming in on a straight line. Now, the question I'm asking, and I'll get to the game in a minute, but the question that I'm asking about Noah Syndergaard is, should we be concerned about this? You know, is there a legitimate cause for concern going forward that Noah Syndergaard is no longer the dominant pitcher that we've known him to be? And there might be cause for a little bit of concern, but I'm going to apply the same logic that Mickey Callaway applied to Jason Vargas a few weeks ago, where he sort of said, look, he's not in a groove, he's not in a routine. And really, when you go back, Noah Syndergaard has not pitched all that much over the last 2 seasons, not consecutively, not consistently. He's missed a ton of time due to injury. He's been on the DL, he's been off the DL, he's been on the DL for an extended period. He had the hand, foot, and mouth, and hoof and mouth disease that he got hit with. You know, these are the sorts of things that can really mess with a pitcher, and mess with a pitcher's timing, and mess with a pitcher's routine. And that could very well be the reason why we aren't seeing dominant Noah Syndergaard right now, because he's not been able to get into that groove or get into that consistent routine that a pitcher needs to be that dominant pitcher that we expect him to be. Look at Jason Vargas right now. I mean, I'm certainly not saying Jason Vargas and Noah Syndergaard are the same pitcher. not even close. But Jason Vargas is finding a little bit of success now, and perhaps it is because he's been throwing routinely every 5th day. And he's been able to get into that groove. And he's certainly more of a veteran pitcher than Noah Syndergaard is, where it might not take Vargas that many times in that routine to figure things out and to pick things up and to be more consistent. I'm going to stick with that as the reason that Noah Syndergaard has been less than dominant of late. That being said, he still pitched okay last night. I mean, he settled in after the first couple of innings. Again, he didn't give up the lead. It was really disappointing to see that he just gave the lead right back. You know, it seemed like when Lester came out, and John Lester, frankly, was no better last night. In fact, you could argue that he was worse than Syndergaard was. But, you know, Lester comes out of the gates in the top of the first. Rosario jumps on the first pitch, lines base hit into left field, steals on the second pitch. They were joking about it last night. It was a Reyes run, and it totally was a Reyes run in the first inning. You know, we're talking vintage Reyes, where he would, you know, bunt for a base hit or get a base hit and steal second and be in scoring position immediately, and a batter or two later he comes home on a single. That was the textbook, you know, dictionary, Webster's definition of a Reyes run, and it'd be awesome to see Rosario develop the ability to do that more often. But it was nice to see the Mets getting out off to a really good start. You know, starting the game really hot, attacking first pitches, seeing that Lester didn't have his best stuff early and going after him. And that was great to see. The unfortunate part was that Syndergaard couldn't hold up his end of the deal. He struggled as well in the first inning. And, you know, it is what it is. You're not going to be dominant every single time out. That's the bottom line. And, you know, last night was one of those games where it just, you know, it didn't go our way. It happens. You know, you can't win them all. Syndergaard still does lead the team with 9 wins, I believe, which is nuts. But he still has 9 wins. So in his next outing, he'll be looking to get into double digits, which will be good. Speaking of double digits, I'm hoping that Jacob deGrom can get there. deGrom pitches tonight. On paper, another good pitching matchup with deGrom and his sparkling 1.7 something ERA going up against former Mets thorn in the side, Cole Hamels, you know, former Philly Cole Hamels. The Cubs picked up Hamels from the Rangers. Hamels was bad with Texas this year, but he's been very good with the Cubs, so it'll be another test for the Mets tonight. I'm just hoping they can give Jake some support. I'd love to see them snag a first inning run for Jake tonight and see how Jake can handle it and see how Jake can let that hold up. That's what I'm looking forward to tonight. Jake has 8 wins on the year. I'm hoping that this helps him get to 9. And again, liking to see him get into double digits so that his candidacy for Cy Young is cemented a little bit further. Speaking of double digits, I want to quickly and briefly mention a triple digit number, 472 feet. That is the distance that the home run for Michael Conforto traveled last night. And it was an absolute bomb moonshot home run. Line drive moonshot home run. I mean, it was a thing of beauty. As soon as I saw it, I just, like, my mouth was open, and right off the bat, you knew it was gone. And you don't often see a center fielder give up on a ball, you know, because they're usually hard to judge. It always, if in the center field, off the crack of the bat, it always looks like the ball's coming right at you. But in this instance, there was no movement whatsoever. Like, I think Hayward took like 2 steps backwards, and I think it was Hayward in center field, whatever, it doesn't matter. Hayward took like 2 steps backwards and was like, nope, not even gonna bother, because that ball was so crushed, so hit out of the park. At 472 feet, it is the longest home run hit by a New York Met since StatCast started tracking that number in 2015. So That's an awesome number for Michael. I believe it was his 20th home run on the season. So one of the nice parts of the second half has been Conforto's reemergence. He's certainly not where we want him to be, but he's looking like the player that we all expected that Conforto would be. And it'll be good if he can finish the second half strong to take that into 2019. I feel the same way about Rosario, and I feel the same way about Jeff McNeil, letting these guys end the season with a positive spin on things so that they can take that into next year. That'll wrap it up for today. I will not be back until Friday morning, so I will not be able to talk about tonight's game with Vargas, nor tonight's game with deGrom, nor tomorrow's game with Vargas, and I'm holding my breath on that one. Tomorrow's game for Vargas is going to be the real test for Jason. So we'll see if the last three were flukes, because if he can pitch well at Wrigley against the Cubs lineup, which is unbelievably deep, then we'll know that Vargas is right and he's okay. So anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. If you're not already doing so, please follow me on Twitter at Mr_Met. I will talk to you guys on Friday, and until then, and as always, let's go Mets.